Okay, so here's what all this looks like, all prepped and ready to go for the next few steps here. So what you're going to want to do, you can skip this step, but I think it adds everything to this piece. So I've got my DeWalt here and some drill bits, and I want the holes pretty big. Okay, I'm gonna go with that size because I need to take fabric and hemp through there a couple times over. So you just want to switch, put your bit in. And then all I do for this is I've got my glue sheet and a couple of boxes. Pop that right like that. And then you want to determine where you want your holes. And I need to look at the other one to make sure. So here's this one. And I've got the holes there and there. And by the way, I marked these top and bottom because sometimes you need to do that to make sure you get everything right. So they're both top to bottom here. So then I want to drill my holes different. So I think what I'll do is put a braid right here, and then I'll do one up here. Okay, so what you want to do then is just make sure you're over some paper. And I like to just put my drill on there. And you want to run it. You want to run it through a couple times like that just to clean up the edges in there so it doesn't snag your fabric too much. Looking good. So we'll do 3 there. Okay, so there's those. And then I want to go up here. So same thing. And I think what I'll do is, I think I'll just do 3 and 3. That'll be cool. Because this one's got 2 down here and 3 up here, so we'll stagger it a little and go 3. Okay, oops-a-daisy. Ha! That's what's nice about this kind of art. You can really get, you don't have to be gentle and it's gonna come out beautifully. I love that. Okay, so your holes may look a little mangled, but it's not gonna be a problem because it's all gonna be hidden. You're only gonna barely see it, see? And what I did here, you can do this or not, is I took a Sharpie marker and I just gently went inside the edge very carefully over that white paint, just like so. And that'll clean it up for you if you want, give you some graphic element to it too. And then go up here. Okay, couple more steps on this. So I hit this corner with my drill, whoops. But it's no problem, just get that off. I should have a razor here. Just take that off, because I'll show you in a sec why. Want to get rid of this. Get that sawdust in the trash right away. And I love to break out power tools to make art. I don't get to as much as I used to. I just don't do big, giant stuff very often, but it's fun. Okay, so now I really don't need all this, but it's cool. We'll leave it. Now you want to ink your edges all the way around. And here's how good it looks. It encloses all that work. And of course, it's going to show up way better on the lighter. So let me go ahead and ink all this and I'll be back. Okay, so a couple of steps here. I've got some watered down white paint here for spatter. And I'm just using a real coarse, rough brush from Michael's. I like this line, whatever. It's Artist Loft. I like scratchy brushes are good for lots of stuff, and spatter's one of those things. Okay, so this is what I'm using, just Craft Smart white. I wanted a real stark white spatter on these. And then, now with the cracks, I'm taking this Folk Art Antique Gold Metallic paint and just dry brushing a tiny bit over, so I've just got an angled flat here. And I like to pull my paint and then load up both sides of it so that it really gets in the bristles well. And then knock off most of it and come in here, let me bring in, and come in here and just hit up this crackle a little bit. All I want to do is dry brush some gold over it. I always, with everything, start off with a light touch and then I work my way up in pressure as needed. Just to add a little bling. This is optional, of course. I like it. I hope you can see it. Got a couple more spots to do here. I like the white too, and you want to be parallel to the piece with your brush, unlike me. Make sure you lay that parallel, because if you're coming at it straight down like I just was, then you end up getting that gold inside those deep cracks, and you really don't want that. You want black in there. So that looks cool. I like that look. And then, all right, we got one more little section here. This one will look sharp. You want to make sure there's no blobs on your brush when you're getting your paint, just because those blobs will go right down into those cracks. Oh, so sorry. Now you've got that white undertone and that really cool gold shimmer on top and some black cracks. Just for the, I always like to put black down in there because I like the contrast of it. I am gonna throw a little more gold. Whoop. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now that you've got that dialed in, and you can use, of course, any color you wish. Any metallic would be amazing for that part right there. Now what I want to do is, I've got a little piece of scrap paper here. I don't want to get spatter on this element, so I'm going to cover that over. You want your paint runny. You don't want it so runny that it loses all of its pigment, but you want it runny enough to come off of this brush and onto your piece. I've got this all up in my ferrule. Here's another thing not to do. Don't get your brush, your paint up so high. Oh well, sometimes, you know, stuff happens. Let me back you up some. Okay, and then I'm just simply gonna start off real gentle and see how much I'm getting. Not very. For some reason, these scratchy brushes, you really gotta load them up, which is fine. I like spada very much. I have to be careful though, because it's just like anything else, too much of a good thing can still be too much as I keep going and going and going. Now, I did that earlier on another one of them and it kind of irritated me, and I went to wipe it off and decided it looked so cool that I left it. So I'm gonna leave that too. You know, going from a perfectionist about every single little thing to the artist I am today has been such a blessing, because it is no fun to nitpick every little thing. You know, if you want to produce a lot of cool art in a decent amount of time, just go for it and trust the art gods and goddesses to guide your piece with you. I love to do art like this because if I spilled coffee on this, it would be just fine. You know what I mean? Okay, so you can mask little stuff real easily. There's that, we're to that point, so I'll be back in a few for the next step. Okay, so I had this piece of scrap fabric put in my stash. It's a little batik style fabric and I'm not sure where I got it. I've had it for years. So you can find batiks all over the place. So these are basically these are 17 and a half, so what is that, 35 inches long each. And if you can get a little longer, I would say do it, because I would have preferred these a little longer, but this is as long as the scrap fabric was, so kind of stuck with it. And then I'm just taking one piece of hemp for each one and snip snap. Where are they? And then we'll just lace it through. I'll show you how I do it. Oh, and one other thing you gotta do that I forgot. I was gonna have it prepped. I'll just do one and then I'll do the rest off camera. So you wanna take this end of fabric and hold it like so. And you wanna do this to all your ends because you're gonna have to string beads on all of them. So you just want to cut that down to a point, and you want it to be long and gradual. It just works best. Do this one real quick. I love the look of beads on fabric, so you just got to do a little prep to make it work out well for you. Okay, I'll do the other one and be right back. Okay, so now you just want to line up your hemp and your fabric, and I spit on it and twist it together. So what to do? Works the best. Okay, and then I want to start at this top hole here, and hopefully without any grief, just push that down and through. Okay. I'm glad this happened. Be right back. Okay, this has been happening to me throughout on the other two too. So I have these really long round nose pliers here from my jewelry making, and they are perfect for this. Just get a knitting needle or something to use to push that down in. And then you want to be real gentle because this wood is kind of raw. And this fabric that I'm using is kind of thin. So you want to be careful with it. And now I'm staggering these. Let me show you. Because I want them to end unevenly. So I'm going to make them uneven right now. Okay. So now I just came down with this end. This is the one I just pushed through. And I'm going to take this other end and just pull it up out of the way. And then come all the way up around and through the second hole. And you want to pull just be real gentle. I snapped one of these pieces of fabric, so whoops. Okay, and then one more time, same one, same direction. You're just gonna end up lacing this down. Looks cool to me, I like it. I have a little bit of a cold, but I'm trucking and working, I love it. Hope everybody's staying healthy out there, you guys. Oh, for the love of Pete. Okay, now it's really frayed. And if that happens, and it will, just come in and snip it. You really need to have something close by like this. That hemp got super frayed and now it's not coming through. Okay, so there it goes. Got it. Sometimes you just gotta keep pulling gently and hope for the best. Okay, so we've got that going through all three of those. Now this side's gonna have to come up. So you just wanna flip it over so that you can go down. Just want to make it upside down, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And then this is where it gets a little tricky. You can make your holes bigger, but I just didn't think it was necessary to. Okay, awesome. Okay, it worked. So now you just want to snug everything up, just like so. You got this, end up with this nice little lace. And you want to be gentle. I got all that done on another one and snapped the fabric at this point. It was a bummer. Ooh, I like that lacing inside that circle. Oh, this paper of Robyn's, I gotta tell you, this went so fast, the collaging, and I used so little. I was really surprised at that. Okay. I just dreamt this up. This is the first time I've ever done this. So I'm gonna grab it all together now and just do one knot. It's plenty good. It ain't going anywhere, especially if your knots, if it's snug in your, in the holes, I mean, then you don't have to worry. And you wanna just gently get that knot all snugged up. Okay, and now for the beads. So, gotta have big hole beads for this. I have some stuff here. I've been putting charms on it too, my wire wrapped crystals. I love that look. And then I've been using these lava beads. I get these at Joann's. I've talked about these a bunch. These I get at Orr's Trading. So, hey, follow up on this right here. I checked their website and it is not up to par with their product line. So, I would recommend calling them ORRS Trading Post to get a hold of these and just tell them that you're wanting cut bone beads. You're wanting patterned cut bone beads, okay? I didn't see any on the website. I checked and I was really not so pleasantly surprised to see how their website was. Not great. Okay, for this you're gonna need some large holed beads. I like to use my needle tool to, anytime I have a bead, I use this all the time in case there's muck up in there. I like to just clear it out because I'm putting it on fabric and hemp and not using a needle. So the bigger the holes, the easier it is, but then you can have a lot of clunk on your piece if everything's really big. So I'm using an assortment of metal beads here. And I'm just gonna do a couple of these. I'll do one hemp strand and one fabric strand. And you can see how it goes and then do it. Okay, now when I was sewing this through, this really got bad here, this hemp. So I'm not gonna spit on it for now. These beads are usually big holed enough that it works out well. And then I'm not going for a set pattern. I'm not really giving myself, like always, time to design or any of that. I'm just grabbing these beads that I know go together. Some of these don't work so good. So well, excuse my grammar. So I'll just grab one that I know is gonna work. I use these on the others, so I need to dump them out. Just put them right here. This little assortment is nice. It's got some nice bling in there and some nice metal. I get these at Joann's. Okay, and now when you're at this point, remember with the, if you watched my fabric necklace tutorial, you want something with a small enough bead that you can tie a knot and not have to worry about this here, okay? You don't want to have to worry about that bead coming through that knot if you can avoid it. Okay, and then this is all I do is just strand a few of these. I'll do a couple more because I want to put something on the end of this. Now these bone beads are smaller holed, and this is already giving me a hard time. So I got these at Fire Mountain Gems. They're cool. I love them, and they are nice and big holds. So I want to add some metal in here. Do that, and that, and that, not that. I rarely do a pattern. Every now and then I'll throw one in that's got like gold, lava gold, the same kind, but it's rare that I do it because I think a piece is a lot more interesting when your beads are not all lined up the same. Okay, this last little copper one is really big hold, so I gotta I'll just grab one of these. Ooh, let's add a little bling too. I like these little, I want to add a little bit of bling to this project. I love these. They are fun. I hope you make some. I just think they are so fun. Okay, so I'm going to stagger this way down here, but I'm going to give myself room to tie the knot. You just want to figure out where your knot's going to go. And then you can push the beads up out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 knots here just to be safe. That's another thing you can do if you've got a bigger hold bead on there. They really want to leave it is just do a few knots, but it'll look bulky, but it'll still look cool. See that? All right, so now I want to do a little bit more beading here. Now what I want to do is I'm not going to worry about knotting it. I want to take a crystal. In this case, I'm going to use a lava. Let's see. I'll use a crystal this time. So I have these wire wrapped, and I have a video on wire wrapping. I think it's called Wire Wrapping Fun. So you can learn how to do this very easily. I just like to throw this on here and I need to give myself, now you want to keep in mind where you want it to land and then how much you want to give yourself. I would have, if this fabric would have been longer, I would have made these longer. I have to tie a few knots here, so I want to give myself plenty of a tail, okay? Because I want it to last forever. I'm going to tie a bunch of knots and I'm going to glue it. Don't do this with your fabric. You can do it with your hemp when you're setting that last whatever bead you got on the end. But it's not at all necessary for the fabric side of it. It's completely detrimental instead. Okay, so then I just take paper towel. So I'm using Weld Bond, and I definitely want to glue that because knots like that have a tendency to come apart, and I'm just taking a toothpick, and then I really want to get where that string is right there, most of all. Probably can't see what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, so, and then I just load it up because this dries clear. I'm not using Mod Podge matte for this because this is a heavier duty thing and I really want this to last, and I don't care about the mess I'm making with it at all. Do not care. That's the beauty of doing art this way. Okay, you can get away with that when you're using clear stuff that dries clear. You can cut this off before or after you glue it. So you know what, you get the idea. Let's move on because I wanted to show you something else now. I made these, I showed this video of these gilded tiles, and these are definitely going on here. So since I've got the Weld Bond out, let's go ahead, and I use this Weld Bond for all my little clay embellishments. So I'm only doing 3 little tiles, so I don't need a ton of this, but I definitely want full coverage on the bottom of each one because the tiles are a little bowed. So I'll have those 2 there. Then I want this last one up here somewhere. I'm thinking right next to this flow of crackle. I gently just push it. I don't want to push it so hard that it oozes out the sides. Just hard enough to keep it in place. Now I walk away from this for a couple hours and let these dry. Or I'll sit here and do the beadwork while they're drying. You just don't want to touch them or mess with them or tip this over because they will slide if they're wet. You know, basic stuff. So here's what I did. I painted a bunch of my air dry clay with the same exact colors, but I've got more jewelry to put on these, and then I pulled a bunch more out and did a bunch more rust. Remember, here's our original pieces. It was this one, and I believe, I think it was this one, and I broke it apart and painted it. But anyway, I went ahead and rusted all of these pieces. This is a few little stamps that I have that I think I got at Michael's in a square block. So you can find tile stamps around, and they are some of my favorite. I love to do tiles. But you can get some really nice embellishments, guys, and I am so happy with this Verde company of this rust paint, and I will link their website below. You can really bling these out and use all kinds of stuff. I just really like to add jewelry to my artwork. This is my idea of jewelry right here. The beads and the tiles, I love it. I want this in the corner. I want to keep these lines here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead. I got these out. I'm just going to use one of these bracket hangers with a couple of little screws. So all I'm gonna do is come in here and I wanna establish how far I'm gonna go here because I want them all equal. So I'm just gonna do a 1/2 inch from the edge. All I'm gonna do is line that up to that line and eyeball it. Looks good right there to me. And then I'm gonna just throw a mark in each little hole with my pencil. And then I'm gonna take this little nail. This is what jewelry pliers are so handy for. Take this little nail and I'm just gonna start it. I don't want to go too deep at all because I just want to give that screw something to grab a hold of. And then just pop that on. I got this cool little toolkit at an auction a long time ago and it's perfect for this kind of work. Okay. So then you just want to pop your screws in. Okay, now you got that done and that's the last of it. So this one's a finished piece.